Yeah, like that. Perfect. Perfect.
Spin.
Yeah.
每对夫妇的故事都是一个家庭故事。每当婚姻遇上种族分歧，差异造成的紧张感，能放大把家庭团结起来的机会。
And I have to say that I actually really excited when Claire told me that she met Ian, this guy, and I really encouraged her to, to try that out. And it works out really, really well. I'm so happy to see they are so happy in their life.
When I first got to know her, I could not understand anything that she said.
但有一件事永远都是真理，不管是什么文化，父母都会担心自己的孩子。
We met when I was young, when I was 19. So, my dad wasn't sure whether or not, as I got a bit older and a bit more mature, whether or not my feelings would change or what I needed out of a relationship would change, and whether or not you and I would stay on the same path in terms of what we wanted from a relationship and from our lives and, all that kind of stuff. My grandparents, when they met Alex, they didn't necessarily have lots of questions and interrogate him or anything like that. But I think just from his presence and how he interacted and spoke with my parents and with me, they, could tell that he was a good guy, like a nice guy. He showed respect and kindness to others. And it's quite poignant as well because before we got married and just a little before my grandpa passed away, he actually made a comment and referred to Alex as my husband.
I liked them for that. I got upgraded even beforehand. It was a good sign.
对 Rob Thompson 来说，跨种族关系不仅仅是一盘生意，因为它同样有着跨文化婚姻。
In my experience, it depends on the attitude of your family and your friends, and I must say in my circumstances I'm very blessed because my parents and my wife's parents, while they're from vastly different locations, upbringings, etc., they have a very similar attitude, which is they want their kids to be happy.
It is good to have a good network of family to support you, so that whether you're celebrating the good times or just having a bit of a whinge about this or that, you've got someone to talk to and realise, I guess particularly when I talk to my friends, I'm not the only one that's whinging about housework or da 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 da. It's very common, so I feel better about it.
如果跨文化关系真的是对接受程度的测试，那么同样，它也能制造全新的看法。
Through their marriage, I actually see that probably they brought out the best of each other, and then they influence each other on the positive things. I mean, that's my observations about the two of you. Right.
I think there's a lot more flexibility and a lot more giving in the relationships, even at that particular level, and I think that probably fosters a better environment. Yeah.
So you wouldn't
Very
really take
much.
things for granted because of you know that it's probably different culture. So therefore, let's
You
just
talk
communicate more.
more. You have to
Exactly. So
communicate.
why I'm actually thinking this way, why I'm doing this way, because of this is the thinking behind. So sometimes it's actually better compared to if you're from the same culture, you just assume that you should really know, but maybe you don't. It doesn't really matter what sort of culture it is. It's more of at the individual person level. So if because of you can be unable to communicate at all, not speaking the same language, but because of you have the love and you're willing to accept the other person, and it just communicate itself through the universe. It doesn't have to be through the words.
尽管夫妇间的爱再怎么强大，文化意识确实会造成差别。
I think it can so easily lead to misunderstandings if you don't have that cross-cultural understanding. So, a couple that I know got married recently, Australian-born wife, Chinese-born husband, and it was really important for the wife to ring mother-in-law and speak in Chinese every day, and to demonstrate that she could cook good Chinese food for her husband to be. And so then she had the family on side, and that was really important.
Before I met him, majority of my friends, they are the Chinese friends. I do have some friends at work, being Westerners, but the level of friendship is probably more superficial, because I think a lot of time is that because I didn't have that level of understanding for culture.
随着我们向着一个文化更加整合的社会迈进，跨文化关系肯定会变得常见。
See, I don't even think about couples necessarily being from other cultures. When we first started thinking about it, I thought, I've got 1 or 2 examples from when I lived in China. But actually now I can think of about a dozen couples at least. And it's just not even an issue. It's not something that comes up.
You know, we've got some friends that are, you know, Polish and Serbian and, you know, Malaysian Chinese, and just so many different combinations as well. You know, you don't really think about it until you're asked to think about it. Like, oh, okay, you know.
After this many years, I think it's over 13, 14 years, I think my parents was, you know, finally saying to me that they thought my decision was correct at the time, and then they couldn't find anybody better than Marcella as a daughter-in-law. Even from China, it's not possible to find somebody like that to be a daughter-in-law.
I reared my children to be accepting. I believe that every step of life is a different. My husband always says life is a journey. He says it so many times, you wouldn't believe how many times he says it. But I do. I think each step of life is different. You accept whatever comes along and makes the best of it. So when Ian came with Claire, another step of life, fantastic. He's happy. They're happy. They've added another dimension to my life.
Well, the importance of family is always the same. And it doesn't really matter if you live in 2 worlds, just act like normal.
What is normal?
Normal, just like spending time with your family, tension with your dad, tension with your mum. It's like a normal life.
休息过后，我们带出一个问题：未来的年轻情侣们会在意文化分歧吗？